Vicki thought learning Illustrator felt like climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops. Then she created her first repeating pattern. And today I want to tell you what Vicki and 157 other creative women proved during our most recent Doodles Coaching Week. Welcome to the Creative Business Spark podcast. I'm LaFollette, creative entrepreneur, online educator, and business coach. After getting laid off in my late 50s, I found myself adrift with no income and no sense of self. But my mom always said, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. So I decided to reinvent myself and build an online creative business from scratch. Now I help women like you do the same. This podcast is where art, mindset, and entrepreneurship meet. I'll share behind-the-scenes lessons, inspiring stories, mindset shifts, and more. Let this be the spark you need to build or grow a creative business with joy and purpose. Let's dive in because it's never too late to create. Welcome to this week's episode of the Creative Business Spark podcast. Let's talk about what happened during this most recent Doodles Coaching Week, because it reminded me of 3 truths that every creative woman needs to hear. Vicki was one of the 158 creative souls who signed up for my most recent Doodles Coaching Week. She loves to doodle, she's always been creative, and she has beautiful ideas tucked away in her sketchbooks and in her creative studio. But the minute that she thought about moving those designs into a computer, a wall of panic went up. Adobe Illustrator felt too big, too technical, too overwhelming. But during the Doodles Coaching Week, Vicki made one small but powerful decision. She decided to trust the process. She showed up for every session. She put her blinders on. She stopped trying to figure out all of the Adobe Illustrator at once. And she simply followed the step-by-step framework that I teach, one manageable piece at a time. And then a few days into the program, her breakthrough happened. And that is what I want to talk about today. If you've ever looked at Adobe Illustrator and thought, I could never learn this, I want you to know that fear is not the final word. Our most recent Doodles Coaching Week reminded me of 3 powerful truths about what's possible when creative women have the right guide, the right process, and the right community to support them. The first truth is this: beginners can create real results quickly. One of the things I love most about the Doodles Coaching Week is that it gives creative women proof. Not theory, not vague encouragement, not someday, maybe, but real proof. In this most recent cohort, 158 women said yes to learning something new. Most had never opened Adobe Illustrator before. We focus on one outcome: creating your first repeating pattern. That's it. You do not need to master Adobe Illustrator in just a week and a half. You only need to follow the next step in front of you. Take a photo of a simple doodle, bring it into Adobe Illustrator, turn it into vector artwork, add color, build the repeat, test the pattern to make sure it's working. One step, then the next, and that is where real progress begins. And then comes the moment I love most. She realizes, oh my goodness, that design is mine. That is when the fear begins to loosen its grip, because now she has evidence. The second truth is this: The right guide makes hard things manageable. When you are standing at the bottom of something unfamiliar, without a map, without the right equipment, and without someone who knows the trail, even a beautiful dream can feel impossible. That's why the guide matters so much. So inside the Doodles Coaching Week, I am very intentional about simplifying the path. I give you a clear path, a doable path, a path that has worked for hundreds and hundreds of students before you. And when the path is clear, students can save their energy for the creative decisions that really matter. What doodles do I want to use? What colors feel joyful? What kind of repeating pattern do I want to create? Can I imagine this on fabric? Could this become wrapping paper? Wouldn't this be beautiful as wallpaper or a notebook cover or maybe a scarf? That is the magic. The technology begins to move into the background and the creative work comes forward. The third truth is this: community turns fear into momentum. This may be my favorite part of the Doodles Coaching Week. When someone joins, she's not just getting lessons. She's stepping into a community of other women who are also learning, trying, asking questions, making mistakes, and celebrating their victories, all while discovering what's possible. And that matters more than people realize, because fear loves isolation. It gets louder when we are alone with it in our thoughts. This is why I never treat community as an extra. It's part of the learning. It's part of the courage. It's part of the transformation. When a woman sees another woman in her late 50s, 60s, or 70s and beyond create her first repeating pattern, something shifts. The dream is no longer abstract. It becomes real, close, possible. One person's breakthrough becomes another person's permission slip. One finished pattern becomes a spark. And one brave question helps the whole group move forward. By the end of the coaching week, the energy is completely different from where it began. But now the fear is mixed with evidence. Evidence that you're not too old and it's not too late. So here is what our most recent Doodles Coaching Week reminded me. Beginners can create real results quickly when they focus on one clear outcome and take the process one baby step at a time. The right guide makes hard things manageable by simplifying the path and reducing the overwhelm. And community turns fear into momentum because we borrow courage from one another until our own confidence catches up. That is what Vicki experienced. That is what so many of my students experienced. And that is what I want every creative woman listening today to believe is possible for you. Your doodles, sketches, watercolor paintings do not have to stay tucked away in a drawer or hidden in your studio. They can become fabric. They can become wrapping paper. They can become wallpaper, apparel, stationery, gift bags, cards, and so much more. If you're ready to create your first repeating pattern with me, I would love to invite you to join us for the next round of the Doodles Coaching Week in September. Early bird tickets are on sale right now, and you can save $40 off the regular price of $77 when you claim your spot now for just $37. Come join us, follow my step-by-step framework, and let me help you turn one of your doodles, sketches, or watercolor pieces into a beautiful repeating pattern that you will be so proud of. You can save your seat at members.artwithann.com podcast.com/doodles. Thank you so much for listening today. If you're listening to the podcast, I would love for you to leave a review or forward it on to a friend who might need to hear this message today. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. It really does help get my videos out to more people. And leave a comment below. I read every single one and respond. I always like to say in closing that I am LaFollette. And remember, it's never too late to create. That's it for today, and I'll see you again next week.